Hello learners, in this video we will learn the core topics of topic 1.1, that is physical quantities and measurements, which comes under unit 1 of IGCSE physics, which is motion, forces and energy. Here we will learn how to measure length using a ruler and the measurement of volume using a measuring cylinder. We will also learn how is time measured. Lastly, but not the least, we will also talk about how to take an average of values, to find a small lengths for accuracy in our measurements. Moving further, so how is length measured? Everyone knows it is measured using a ruler or a rule. We can also call it a rule. What is the SI unit of length? It is meters. It can also be measured in other units such as kilometers, millimeters, centimeters, etc. So, how to measure a length? Let's say this is a ruler, right? Everyone has seen a ruler, everyone has used a ruler. You have been using it for long. Now you are in grade 9 or 10, so you have been using a ruler for long. But how to take the measurements using a ruler accurately? So first of all, whatever object you are having, you should lay it straight alongside the ruler. In this case, I am taking the example of finding the length of this pencil. So what we will do, we will lie this pencil straight alongside the ruler with one of its end lying at 0. Now, if I see there are 10 divisions between 0 and 1. There are 10 divisions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. One division is actually equal to 1 millimeter. So 10 divisions means 10 millimeters and 10 millimeters is equals to 1 centimeter. That means from 0 to 1 this is 1 centimeter. 1 to 2 this is again 1 centimeter and so on. So this is a 10 centimeter ruler. Now if I want to find the length of this ruler, one end is at 0. In some of the rulers 0 is not marked. So you start from the end of the ruler. And I read the last reading, which is 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 and 5.4. So the length of this ruler is, the length of this pencil is 5.4 centimeters. As simple as that. So just to repeat, length is measured using a rule or a ruler, and the SI unit is meters, though length can be measured in other units like kilometers, millimeters, centimeters and many. Moving further about how to find the volume. Now first of all, what is volume? What do you mean by volume? Volume is actually the capacity. Volume is actually the capacity. Capacity of what? The capacity of a container. Let's say I have this container. I want to find the volume of this container. How much it can hold in it. How much thing it can hold in it is actually the capacity, which is known as volume, right? So volume is the capacity of an object to hold things. The capacity of a particular container is the volume. Now to find the volume of solids, first of all, solids are divided into two categories. One is regular solid, other is irregular solid, right? Now what is regular solid? Regular solids are which have a fixed shape. For example, this cube, this is a fixed shape. A cuboid, again cuboid is also a regular solid. Now it's very simple to find the volume of such thing. I want to find the volume of this particular cube. Simply I will find its dimensions. I will find the dimensions of the solid using the ruler. Simply we have learned how to use a ruler. I will take the dimensions of this cube, that is the length, the breadth and the height, and simply I will use the appropriate formula for that particular shape to find the volume. In this case, for a cube, everyone knows the volume of a cube is side cube. So that is length into length into length, because in case of a cube, length is equals to breadth is equals to height. So I will simply use the formula for regular solids. First, I will find the dimensions of this solid using the ruler. Second, I will find the formula. Formula is already set for the volume of that particular solid, regular solid, and you will use the formula to find the volume. Done. But what about irregular solids? Irregular solids, like I have this solid of this shape. I have a pebble of this shape. Can I find the dimensions of the shape? Can I find the dimensions of this shape? No, I can't. How will I find the dimensions? Can I find its length, breadth, height? Not at all. It is an irregular solid. So how do I find the volume of irregular solid? I will use my displacement method. Displacement method. Now what if displacement method? Displacement, that is something is getting displaced. So in this case we use measuring cylinders. So here if you see in the figure, I have a measuring cylinder. Measuring cylinder looks like this, a long cylinder with some markings on it. It is in centimeter cube in this case. Now first what will I do? I will fill this measuring cylinder with some water and will read the initial volume. Initial volume is the volume of this particular cylinder. In this case it is 60. It's between 60 and 80, so it is 70 centimeter cube, right? It is 70 centimeter cube. Now what will I do? I want to find the volume of this pebble lying here. So I will simply place or submerge this object, the pebble in this case, and read the final volume. So you can simply place this pebble inside. Don't throw it. You can either place it using a thread or simply drop it and read the final volume. So in this case, if you see, it was 70. Now when you place the pebble inside it, it has risen to 80, 90 and 95. So the reading of this is 95 centimeter cube. Now the most important point to note here is, how will you take this reading? Will you look from the top? Will you look from the top? Will you look from the bottom, or from where? So the correct way to look at the reading, to read the reading, is to look perpendicular. Your eye should lie here. You should look perpendicular. If you see here, what is written is, the curved surface of the liquid is called meniscus. The curved surface of the liquid. If you see this curved surface, the curved surface of the liquid, this is called meniscus. So make sure that you read the reading perpendicular to this. So the initial reading was 70. When you place the pebble, the water displaces and the final reading is 95. Now how to find the volume of the pebble? In order to find the volume of the pebble, you simply subtract the final volume and the initial volume. Initial volume should be subtracted from the final. So final is our 95 minus 70, which gives us 25 centimeter cube. So basically this is our volume of pebble, right? So volume of pebble in this case becomes 25 centimeter. So just to quickly repeat, how do we find volume for regular solids? For regular solids, I will simply take the dimensions, use the formula and get the answer. In case of irregular solids, I will use a measuring cylinder. I will place some water. I will take the initial reading. Then I will place or submerge the object of which I have to find the volume. The water level rises. I will take that reading here and subtract the final volume from the initial volume from the final volume, and we get the volume of the object. And always read perpendicular. The reading should be read perpendicular to this surface. Okay, so we are done with how to measure length, how to measure the volume of regular solid, how to measure the volume of irregular solid. Now next we have to know how to find the time, measuring time. Again, very simple. So how is time measured? Time is measured using clocks or stopwatches. Everyone knows what are clocks. Everyone knows what is the time here, right? If you are IGCSE student, I'm sure you know how to read time in this clock. It's 11 o'clock. Sorry. It's 11 o'clock over here, right? And we can see two more images. So this everyone knows. Again, these are stopwatches. This one is analog stopwatch and this one is digital. What is the difference between the two? Digital is more accurate actually. It can give you microseconds also. But here if you want to say 0.5, it's very tough to find. But here it gives you an accurate and close value. Even the shortest of the time intervals can be measured. And clocks, obviously it's for long uh, like big time, long hours or minutes. It's very tough to measure seconds. You cannot measure less than 1 second. Yeah, 1 second you can measure, tuck is 1 second, but less than 1 second you cannot measure using clocks. So then comes analog and digital stopwatches. So the SI unit of time is seconds. Other, obviously the time is also measured in hours, it is also measured in minutes, but the SI unit again is seconds. And just to get back, what is the volume of what is the unit of volume? It's centimeter cube or meter cube. The SI unit will be meter cube, and the other units can be centimeter cube, millimeter cube, and many. So now you know how length is measured using a ruler, volume is measured using measuring cylinder, time is measured using stopwatch or a clock. Now moving to the last topic for today, determining an average value. Now first of all, what is the need of finding an average value? And how do we find average value? Maths here, a little bit of maths. How do we find average value? Let's say I have three values, 3.1, 2.2 and 8.6. I have to find the average of these three. So what will I do? I will add all three. I will add all the three values and divide it by the number of value, which is 3, right? And get the answer. So why do we need to find an average value in physics? What is the need of finding the average value in physics? So the accuracy of measurements can be increased by taking multiple measurements and calculating an average, right? I can increase the accuracy by finding an average value. Now, how does it increase the accuracy? So basically it is used in small measurements. Average value is generally used in for smaller values, like the time period of a pendulum. If everyone knows what is a pendulum, it's a bob attached to a thread and which is tied to a rigid surface. Right. So one oscillation, if I talk of one oscillation, is actually it goes from maxima to equilibrium point and back to maxima. है ना? It is like this. This is our pendulum. So it goes from here till here. So one oscillation is it goes here, come back here, goes here, and come back here. It's divided into four parts. From 1, if I mark this 1, 2, 3. So it goes from 1 to 2, then 2 to 1, then 1 to 3, and back from 3 to 1. So it's divided into four parts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? So from here, back, back, back. This is one oscillation. Now, obviously, I will use a stopwatch to find the time of one oscillation. But do you think one oscillation you can find using a stopwatch? By the time you will switch on or off the stopwatch, the one oscillation will be completed. Right? So you will not be able to find the accurate value. Right? So what will we do? We will find the time for 20 oscillations. Right? So it's basically the reaction time which is also included. The reaction time means the time you are taking to switch on or off your stopwatch. That is the reaction time. So that reaction time can be avoided by taking the average of values. So what I will do, I will find the time period for 20 oscillations. I will find the time period for 20 oscillations. Let's say it comes out to be 3.6 seconds. I will take one more reading. Let's say it came out to be 3.2 seconds. I will take one more reading. Let's say it came out to be 2.9 seconds for 20 oscillations only. Right? So I have taken three readings. You can take four, you can take five. Right? And I will find the average of these values. How will I find the average? It will be 3.6 plus 3.2 plus 2.9 and divided by 3 and get the answer. So this will be the average value for 20 oscillations. How much it will be? Let's calculate it quickly. We will use our calculator. IGCSE students are lucky enough to get the calculator. So 3.6 plus 3.2 plus 2.9. It gives us 9.7. It gives us 9.7 divided by 3. So 9.7 divided by 3, it gives us 7.7. It gives us 7.7 seconds. This is the time for 20 oscillations. For one oscillations, I will divide it by 20. So it gives me 0.38 seconds. It gives me 0.38 seconds. So this is actually the time for one oscillations. So what we have done, by taking the average, we have increased our accuracy. So whenever you have to find the time period of a pendulum, do not find one reading and just say it's the final answer. What to do? Take time for 10 oscillations, 20 oscillations, 30 oscillations, whatever suitable, and take 3 to 5 values, 6 values, and take out the average to get the more accurate answer. Similarly, if you have to measure the small length, how will you measure the small length? Like the thickness of a sheet of paper. I have a sheet of paper. Can I find its thickness using a ruler? Oh my god, not at all. How will you use the ruler for such a thin paper? So what I will do, I will take 500 sheets, stack them together like this, one over the other, 500 sheets. Now I will find the thickness of these 500 sheets. I will take the ruler and take the reading. So it is 12.5 minus 10, it gives me 2.5 centimeters. But this is the thickness of 500 sheets. If I want to find for one sheet, I will divide by 500. And this will give me 0.005 centimeters. So this is the thickness for one sheet of paper, right? So this is how you can find an average value and make your measurements more accurate. I hope it's very much clear what is how to measure length, how to measure time, how to measure volume, and how to increase the accuracy of your measurements by taking out an average. So if you like the video and you have understood the concept, do like, share and subscribe the channel. And if you have any queries, write to me on yutika0050@gmail.com. Thank you.